What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. In this video, we are jumping into Superman issue number 8. This is the legacy issue 850, and though I am very sad to say it, this will be the last Superman comic until January, at least from this title. But in the last issue, what we had seen is the Chain, some kind of project of Lex Luthor's. He has been let loose on the city of Metropolis by Superman. Of course, Superman was completely unaware of what this guy was or what he could do. But Lex Luthor had gone to such great lengths to ensure that this guy stayed locked away. Now he's got a bone to pick, not only with Lex Luthor, but all of Metropolis. He's quickly going to see that the Super Family is here to protect this city. And on the topic of families, some huge revelations inside of this comic about the child of Lex Luthor. Make sure you guys have subscribed to the channel, make sure that you like this video, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright guys, so as we dive into this issue, we are picking up with the man that is running for mayor, Mr. White, as he proclaims this to all of Metropolis. The ground begins to rumble, and with the rumbling, we see that people are floating and falling from the sky at the same time. Nobody knows what is going on, but this is all because of the Chained. He speaks to Metropolis, says that his father tried to warn you about me, but now that he is gone, all of you are going to pay. This is where we see that there are some ties to this man. This man, the Chained, his name is Sammy Stryker, and he knows Perry White. If anybody knows where Lex Luthor is, it's going to be him, as he tries to get the answers out of Perry. This is where we have the arrival of the Super Family. They come in to take him down, and every single one of them is stopped. Telekinesis powers used to stop them. Dead in their tracks, they cannot move. But with Kara using some ice breath, she freezes him for a moment and they are able to break free. They know that they gotta stop this guy. They try to let him know that we're on the same side, but he simply isn't listening. Deep beneath Stryker's island, we have Superman who is chained up. Lex Luthor designed this machine. It uses your own power against you. So the more that Superman uses his strength to try and break the chains, that strength is used right back against him. The chains are as strong as Superman. But Superman, he knows how to break free. He's gonna use an old trick a friend taught him. As he begins to vibrate, she tries to tell Superman that this isn't going to work, it'll just match your speed. But she said that it uses his power against him. Superman, he's got a lot of powers. And so what he does is essentially overload this machine, using all of his abilities, every ounce of his power in a singular moment. He is able to break free. Back topside, we have Superboy who is going in on him, going in on the Chained, with him even able to break one of the chains. This is where the Chained, he wraps him up, he brings him in close, and he can sense the power that he has. He is a lot like the Chained, just limited, but he has yet to reach his full potential. Asking what he is, this is when Superman comes in, giving the Chained a Superman punch, letting him know that he is family. Superman saying that I warned you before. We are not looking for a fight, that we want to help you. But the way that the Chain sees it, there is an S on his chest. That symbol stands above the Lex Luthor building, and anybody that is a friend of Lex Luthor, they are not a friend of the Chained. As they battle it out, what we see is multiple buildings in Metropolis begin to fall. This is because of the Chained. So the Super Family, they have to rush to get everybody out. As Connor stands against the Chained, he uses his tactile telekinesis, but it is simply not enough. With the building coming down, the Super Family rising up again, Kara is thinking it is almost impossible to stop this guy. They can't even get close to him. This is when Connor says that this isn't his power, that it's not just telekinesis, it is tactile telekinesis, just like Connor. But as they try to figure things out, the Chained, he has an arrival guest, Dr. Pharma and Mr. Graff. They have come to let him know that they are seeking revenge. They have let him loose because they want to go after Lex Luthor. Meanwhile, on Stryker's island, we have Lex Luthor that is saying he needs to get out of here, that Superman needs him, as the doctors urge him to stay put, that he barely survived his surgery, that if he leaves the room in this state, there is a good chance he will die. Now, this is when Lois comes in the room saying, why don't you just let him leave? Because she would be okay with him dying. But she also goes on to say, why don't we just clear the air off the record? That I'm not buying this little game you're playing. Lex likes to pretend like he's a good guy. She wants to know, what is your angle? What's your real plan? This is when Lex goes on to explain that once upon a time, someone very important to Lois had lied to her for years. What she is talking about, of course, is Clark lying about his identity as Superman. At the time, you were simply too blind to see what you didn't want to see. Today is not any different. Lois looks at Lex Luthor, and what she wants to see is the criminal, the bad guy, the one that has fought Superman for years. From the first day they met, Superman had shown him compassion. When he showed up in Metropolis, he was rejected by him. Superman revealed his weaknesses over and over again. It wasn't a chink in one of his armors, or a flaw in design, or a piece of a plan that he didn't calculate for. It was Lex Luthor. He tried to be a hero, and instead he made enemies. He thought to be a hero you had to make sacrifice. Superman showed him that he was wrong, and he has often asked himself, when you look into the abyss, the abyss, it looks back. But what if the abyss looked back and saw Superman? Could he change the abyss the way that he changed Lex Luthor? And he will admit that perhaps there are other motives, but maybe his other motives, that means saving the world. And while Lois goes on to say that all of this sounds like a villain monologue, he just wants to help Superman. This is when we have the arrival of Lex Luthor's mother. Letitia Luthor has arrived, and even Lois thought her to be dead. Lex Luthor had furnished her with a private island so that she would never be seen or heard from again. But after what she heard about everything going on with Superman taking over the company, she is still on the board of directors. She has returned to Metropolis to investigate whether he made the right decision in this kind of transfer of power, to see if it's even legal. She also didn't come alone. Someone is waiting outside in the hallway for him. This is where he really begins to freak out, because he told her to never bring her to Metropolis, that it is too dangerous. No one can know about her. This is where we see Lena Luthor, the daughter to Lex Luthor, with this bombshell being dropped on us. This is where we pick up with Brainiac. And Brainiac is doing what Brainiac does. He wants all Kryptonian knowledge. With Superman being able to escape him after all of these years, he has become infatuated with getting the last son of Krypton. Because of his presence, Brainiac has been unable to get what he wants. Knowledge is power. It is why he hoards his worlds. And there is more power on Earth than any other world. The question is why? Brainiac has puzzled with the why of this for so long. This planet, third from its sun, created billions of years ago, similar to the creation of so many worlds. But Earth has been able to unlock uncanny abilities in its citizens, more and more every year. For example, the world that he stands before right now, called Braille, not unlike Earth, filled with humanity, and yet Earth is filled with varied metahuman potential. This world only has one: the ability to manipulate metal with the power of magnetism. This is where we see the General Chakal. Brainiac is tasking them with destroying this world, to kill all of them. For centuries, he embraced order. This assignment calls for chaos. He will grant them their freedom, as long as they destroy everything. And so as they set this world ablaze, for centuries he has destroyed and hoarded, but soon he is going to have the power to create life himself. This is where we see Brainiac standing before a vat, unable to see who is inside, but obviously he is creating something. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. An absolutely fantastic issue. Get to see more of the Chained, more of how he is some kind of creation of Lex Luthor. Obviously, Brainiac is going to find this information very appealing. Whether he's able to access this knowledge from Lex Luthor, that's very much up for debate. And speaking of Lex Luthor, not only does his mother show up, but we find out that he has a teenage daughter he has kept hidden away from the world for all of this time. How this is going to play a part into everything is going to be very interesting, but I think the introduction of his daughter is truly showing that we are in the era of Lex Luthor no longer being a villain, maybe an anti-hero. Either way, he is now working with Superman, his daughter is in town, he is actively trying to defend himself against Lois Lane. The possibility that Lex Luthor has actually changed might actually be on the table for once. It could all be smoke and mirrors. It could all be a facade. But I like to believe that after all of this time, Lex Luthor has finally changed. That he has finally become the man that he is truly meant to be. But how can he become this man? The sins of the past, they haunt him even to this day. They threaten Metropolis right now. If he is to become the hero of tomorrow, he must face the sins of yesterday. Let me know your thoughts, let me know your theories. If you would like to get completely caught up on everything going on with Superman, go ahead, check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It is gonna get you completely caught up on everything going on with this series. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership, much like Patreon, having multiple different tiers, from $1 to $50. From loyalty badges to comics every single month. Not only are you helping out the channel tremendously, but you are getting tons of perks in the process. Now, if you're unable to do this, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.